Hello, everyone. Ken Morgan. I am an inspirational speaker. I teach people how their mind works so you can purposely attract whatever it is that you want in life, whether it be to earn more money, have an amazing relationship, live a long, healthy life. Today's topic is going to be about purposely releasing emotion. I tell people all the time, no matter who it is that I'm talking to, whether it's somebody that I'm coaching, counseling, somebody's on one of my webinars, I always have to go over this one thing. This is always the starting point, I believe, of personal development, which is purposely releasing emotion. And the reason for that is, let's say you're dealing with one of the three main areas in your life, which are, hopefully this works, wealth, relationship, or health. Right now, your life fits in one of those three categories, either or all three. So you want to either improve wealth, relationship, or health. And of course, there's subcategories of all of that, but basically that's the deal. So with emotion, why do we need to purposely release emotion? If you're trying to get ahead in one of these areas, and you're trying to do marketing, you're trying to start your own business, you're trying to do all these different things, and you keep coming up with blocks, or sometimes somebody will say, I don't know what it is, I'm just stuck. Or if you've been in personal development, you may have heard someone say you need to know your why. Well, one of the things that I have learned is that you cannot know your why, or one of the things that will block you from understanding and knowing your why is holding on to emotion. So I was in a relationship for 3 years, and me and this person, like, we had an amazing relationship. We were together 24/7, and every single time we did something, there was emotion that was poured into my heart. So I'm going to use this glass and this water as an example. So let's say, for example, at first, I come into the relationship with no baggage, no emotion, nothing on the inside of me. And now I'm in this amazing relationship, and we have good times. And now there's emotion that's poured into this proverbial cup inside my heart. And then we have some bad times and we have arguments. And then there's emotion that is poured inside this cup. And then we're doing things with the kids. And then we're going on vacation. And then we're having conversations about things that happened to us when we were younger. And we're being open about things that happened to us when we were younger. And we're just appreciating each other. And life is going amazing. And then we find out about personal development together. And then we start going to all these seminars together. And as we're going to these seminars together, we're finding out more about us. We're finding out about our purpose. We're finding out about our passion. We're finding out about our destiny. Imagine sitting next to this person when you find out, the day that you find out what you are actually purposed to do. So there's even more emotion with there. Now imagine going to a seminar and you have money to go to the seminar, but you don't have enough money for lunch and you don't have enough money for gas. And the two of you stick together and you make that work and you love each other regardless. And you have all this emotion that is poured inside of this. And then now, let's say, for example, all these circumstances, all this stuff happens, and you have all this emotion that's poured inside this proverbial cup inside your heart. And then one day, the unbelievable happens. One day, the two of you decide to go your separate ways. And the way that that looks in any relationship can look a bunch of different ways. Like, so let's say, for example, somebody is cheating on each other. I'm not talking about the outside circumstances. Basically, just bottom line, the two of you decide to go your own ways. So now you have this glass that is full of emotions of this person that was in your heart. Well, for me, because I learned about this with personal development, what I learned that I needed to do before I got into another relationship, or before I even considered another relationship, I needed to release this emotion. Now, what's crazy is that a lot of times whenever we're releasing emotion, it comes out as tears, right? Sometimes it might come out as anger. Sometimes it might come out, emotion is released different ways. But if you think about relationship, you think about the business you're trying to start, you think about the things that you're going through, and then you ask yourself, why? Why do I keep getting stuck? Why do I keep having problems? I can almost guarantee you the main reason is that you have not purposely released emotions. So, what I did at the end of that relationship, the day that I knew that I was leaving, I literally released emotions at her feet. I prayed for her. I cried. I completely released emotions because I didn't want to leave that relationship, get into a relationship with Susie down the road, and then wonder why me and Susie can't work out. Well, the reason why me and Susie can't work out is because I would have still been holding on to the emotions of something or somebody else. So my job is to, I wish I could pour this out. I can't pour it out, but imagine I pour this out, and now this glass is empty. Now Susie has a place where she can come into my life. A lot of times, the reason why you don't want to release emotions is because there is you believe by releasing emotions, you're releasing that person. Well, you still will have the memories of that person. You'll still have the experiences and things like that. You just won't have the emotions that are there that are preventing everything else in your life from working out the way that you want to work out. So, how do we purposely release emotions? The first thing that I do is I first set an intention that I'm going to do this. So I'll say, you know what, tonight at 7 o'clock or tonight when I go to bed, I'm going to purposely release these emotions. Then what I will do is I will get in the bed and I will allow the thoughts of that thing or the thoughts of that person or the thoughts of that circumstance to come up in my mind. And a lot of times as adults, what we do whenever thoughts come up in our mind, we push it away. So if you think about a time where someone is like, you know, hey, tell me about the time that this happened to you. Tell me about the time that you got beat up. Tell me about the time that you were raped. Tell me about the time that someone broke up with you. Tell me about the time that you had a death in the family. One of the ways that you know that there's emotion there is that you can't talk about it. It's like, you know, I don't want to talk about that. Leave that alone. We're not even going to go there, that type of thing. Well, if you can't talk about it, that's a sure sign that you have emotion inside that you need to purposely release. So I'll set the intention and make sure that I am alone, making sure that I'm not purposely releasing emotion with anybody. This is just my time. So the first thing you want to do is purposely is set an intention. The second thing that you want to do is allow the thoughts to actually come up. And as the thoughts come up, you do not want to judge those thoughts. So let me erase that. So you do not want to judge those thoughts. You want to make sure that you are allowing the thoughts to come up and then allow the thoughts to give you whatever thoughts they were. So when I was going through the relationship, the thoughts that will come up in my mind is, you're never going to find someone as good as this. You've completely fucked up. Like you messed up another relationship. You're going to be single again. You should be married by now. All of your friends are married, or at least the ones that you care about, they're married. It must be something wrong with you so there's all these thoughts that come up. And what those thoughts, they bring emotion. At some point in time, that emotion is going to come up. And when that emotion comes up, you're going to allow that emotion to do whatever that emotion wants to do. So if that emotion wants to come out in the form of tears, then let it come out in the form of tears. I remember I was dealing with my stepdad's death, and I was purposely releasing the emotion for him. And some of those emotions came out as anger. I remember putting my head in my pillow and just screaming into my pillow and allowing that emotion to come out. I'll be really transparent with you. It's not, let's just say this. At the time, it's painful. But when you start understanding the purpose of releasing emotion and start understanding what's going on whenever you're letting that out of you, you'll understand where that pain is actually coming from. Sometimes I remember when I was getting out of that relationship, like it was gut wrenching that's releasing that emotion. So you allow the thoughts come up, you allow the emotions to come up, and you continue to release emotions. You continue to cry, you continue to yell, you continue to scream, you continue to allow those emotions to come out however they want to come out. What you'll find is that at the end of it, once those emotions are out, they're gone. You couldn't, like, I couldn't cry over that relationship that I was in right now if I wanted to. I can't cry over my stepdad's death if I wanted to. I can talk to you about him. I can talk to you about her. Like, those are memories now, but there's no more emotion that is there that's messing up my life. Now, for those of you that say, well, why should I purposely release emotions anyway? Like, something happened to me, you don't understand what happened to me, and I don't want to forgive this person, or I don't want to release these emotions, that type of thing. So I want to just quickly talk about what happens whenever you hold on to emotions and how they come into your life. So the first thing that happens is that you have a circumstance that happens in your life. The second thing that happens is that circumstance brings with it thoughts. That circumstance brings with it feelings and emotions. The same way that we went through when I was pouring the water into the glass. Those thoughts, those feelings, those emotions are supposed to be released at that time. So if you have an opportunity to Google Jimmy Kimmel's Parents That Eat the Kids' Halloween Candy. So a very good example of this is the parents take the kids Halloween or trick-or-treating, and then they record a video the next day of them telling the kid that, hey, we ate your candy. If you look at that video, one of the things that you'll find is that every single kid immediately releases the emotion. They scream, they cry, they get angry, and some kids, even as a way of releasing emotion, says, you know what, Mom, Dad, I forgive you. It's okay, I forgive you. But no matter what, all of those kids are releasing emotions. So kids have it. Kids have it right. If you have kids, you'll see that if your kid falls down and gets hurt, that kid immediately releases that emotion. If you do not release that emotion as an adult, that emotion becomes a dis-ease. That dis-ease, that emotion goes someplace in your body. So that forgiveness or that unforgiveness that you have, or those thoughts that you have, it goes someplace in your body. It might go to your chest. It might go to your stomach. It goes someplace in your body. If I were counseling, or when I counsel, when I coach people, what I'll do is I'll take them through this breathing technique, and you can try this on your own. So you're going to focus on your breathing. Just focus on breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And you're going to do that for about 3 or 4 days. And the only, 3 or 4 days, Lord, 3 or 4 minutes. And the only thing that you're going to do is focus on your breathing. Then what you're going to do, after about 4 minutes, you're going to start thinking about that thing that you know that is attached to or has some type of emotion that is there. And if you think about that thing, you will be able to put your finger on the exact place in your body where those emotions are at. So what happens if you don't purposely release those emotions, it becomes a dis-ease. If you then do not purposely release those emotions, that dis-ease becomes a disease. And that disease will get worse and worse and worse. Well, what's crazy is that the disease is not there to kill you. So whether it's cancer, whatever it is, it's not there to kill you. That disease is there to let you know that you have something that's on the inside of you that you need to release. So, and there's a lot of science and things that go into that, and you guys can Google that and you can look that up. This purpose of this video is just to teach you guys how to purposely release emotion. So number one, you're going to set an intention. Number two, you're going to allow the thoughts and the emotions to come up, and you're going to allow them to come out however they want to come out. And then number three, one of the things that I would do is I would just be thankful. I would then be thankful that I have purposely released that emotion. Now, as you're purposely releasing that emotion, you might start have thoughts and ideas that have emotion that are tied to the main thing that you were purposely releasing emotion for. So let me give you an example. That relationship that I was telling you about that I was in for 3 years. So I'm in that relationship and I release all that emotion that day. 2 or 3 days go by and I don't have any thoughts or emotions in reference to her at all. And then one day, I'm driving in the truck for the company that I'm working with, and I start having these things that are coming up in my heart, these feelings that are coming up in my heart, and these thoughts of her. And I'm thinking like, man, what's the deal? Like, I know I purposely released the emotion. Why is this coming up? This, that, whatever, whatever. So I did the same exact thing. Matter of fact, this day I actually pulled over and I allowed myself to be one with those emotions. I allowed myself to allow the thoughts to come up without me judging it, basically. And as the thoughts came up without me judging it, I began to have thoughts of her mother. I began to have thoughts of her sister, of her family, of her kids. And what I realized is that, yes, I released all the emotion that was tied to her. But now I needed to release this emotion that are tied to the kids and the family and that type of thing. And that was painful. And I'll be really transparent with you. That day, like, I didn't want to release the emotion. I wanted it, like, sometimes we would rather feel sad than feel nothing at all. And that day, even like me teaching what it is that I teach, I held on to the emotions, and it probably took like 2 or 3 days before I was willing to say, you know what, let me go ahead and get rid of this and let the emotions go. I still have the memories of her family. Her family is amazing. She's amazing. Like, I still have those memories that's there, and I can appreciate that, but I no longer have that built up emotion. So the benefit is now, whenever I go and I get into another relationship, when that person comes in, they're dating me. They're not dating this broken person that is holding on to all of these emotions from this other relationship. Or if I want to start my own business, I'm able to bring in the ideas clearly and the clarity that I need for that new business, because I don't have these emotions that are there that are saying, listen, we're not going nowhere until we're not going on there, and we're going to sabotage and fuck up everything in your life until you fix these things. So keep in mind, release the emotions, purposely release the emotions. I hope you liked the video. If you did like the video, if you did get anything out of it, leave a comment down below. If you want to follow and you want to get more videos, you want me to talk about more topics, hit subscribe, and then that way you can see the videos on a more consistent basis if that's what you feel led to do. In the meantime, I want to remind you that life is lived from the inside out, and do it with passion. My name is Ken, and I appreciate and I love you. Thank you.